Hey everybody, Robert here from Black Belt Gaming. So what is a Blackguard? Looks like Blackguard, right? Well, it's a subclass of Cavalier, and strength 14, intelligence 11, wisdom 13, con 11, charisma. It's an interesting array here, 3/4/17/18. I'm not sure what that means. We'll have to find out. Relevant stats are strength, centaurs, drow, half drow, and humans may be blackguards. Hit dice is d10, and these guys are chaotic evil. So we've got a chaotic evil Cavalier. Any armor, any shield, any weapon. Cause disease. Command undead. Some other immunities. Poison ear. Spellcasting ability. Wow. Sounds cool, but at the same time bad. The Blackguard is a subclass of Cavalier. It is the quintessential Black Knight, a dastardly villain who not only delights in carnage and injustice, but who also is in league with the powers of darkness, who grant him supernatural powers in return for his spreading of evil and injustice upon the earth. It is this pact with the forces of evil which sets the Blackguard apart from a merely evil knight. So the latter is only a bully and a tyrant. The former is a pawn of the cosmic struggle between good and evil. This battle is fought on the material plane and is all the more terrible because of it. So, unlike Cavaliers, Blackguards can be of any social class. If they hail from the lower or middle classes, they are upstarts, fueling their resentment of their poor upbringing by subverting the ideals of chivalry and the knightly ideal. If they are the upper class, they are most likely jaded aristocrats or second or third sons who focused on their focused on their pedigree to bother with that which is right by the standards of society, which they see as unreasonable constraint upon their inherent right to rule. If they ever commit a lawful or good act, they must be absolved by a cleric of their religion of no less than 7th level. The cleric will prescribe some sort of unholy sacrifice or mission to thwart the powers of law and good. Wow. I can't even imagine playing one of these guys. Blackguards are the paragon of the chaotic evil philosophy. They will only knowingly hire henchmen of chaotic or neutral evil alignment, and will only tolerate other characters and beings of evil or neutral alignment on their long-term basis. This is how they advance in level, D10 per level for hit points. Starting abilities, they can cause disease. So in addition to being immune to disease themselves, they have a touch which causes disease as per the reverse of the cure disease spell, and they can do this once per week for every 5 levels of experience. So it looks like levels 1 to 5 once per week, 6 to 10 twice per week. Let's see what we've got up here. Yeah, by the time you're 20th level, you can do this 4 times a week, 16th to 20th level. Horsemanship. Blackguards, for all their faults, are excellent horsemen. They begin the game with 1 level in horsemanship. We covered skills briefly in my previous video. I did not look at horsemanship, so I may want to check that out. So horsemanship for other classes is going to cost 2,000 to gain this skill. Additional levels will cost 1,000 experience points. You make your check against wisdom, and This is basically like the Cavalier's horsemanship ability. So while mounted, those with at least one skill level in horsemanship gain a +1 to hit. All those with the skill are, by virtue of their experience with horses, excellent judges of horse flesh. After examine a horse, by making a successful check, they can tell if its hit points are in the lower third, the middle third, or the top third of possible range, and any horse selected as a mount will have +2 hit points per hit die, up to the maximum number of hit points possible. Mounts will always be friendly and obedient as long as they are well trained or well treated. Horsemanship grants some other benefits based on your skill level in horsemanship. So skill level 2, you get +1 damage. So now you have +1 to hit and +1 damage. Skill level 3, you can leap into the saddle, even in heavy or bulky armor, and be racing away within one segment. Number 4, good aligned female elves may use unicorns as steeds. Number 5, skill level 5. You can urge your steed to go 20 feet per round faster than normal for up to 1 hour, but a rest is still required. And skill level 6, +1 to hit when mounted. So this is an additional +1, so you're going to get +2 to hit while mounted. Skill level 7, you can use a Pegasus or a few other monsters here as a mount. At level 8, you get an additional +1 to damage. Level 9, you can use a hippogriff as a mount. And at skill level 10, you can use a griffin as a mount. So in some campaigns, creatures other than horses might be the standard mount. In such a case, the game master should make necessary alterations to the horsemanship skill. So we've read a bit about horsemanship. Let's take a look. Blackguards are 90% resistant to magic which affects the mind, such as illusions, beguiling, charm, hold, sleep, suggestion, etc. And this resistance is in addition to, and not instead of, regular saving throws. They gain a +2 bonus on any saving throws versus illusions. They may detect good at a range of 60 feet, and this requires concentration. They also radiate protection from good at a 10-foot range as per the spell. Multiple attacks per round, so when facing opponents with only a hit die of D4 or D6, they get a number of attacks equal to their level. This also applies to characters. A 3rd level Blackguard attacking a 1st level magic user would get 3 attacks in 1 round. It does not apply when fighting creatures with a D8 or better hit dice, nor does it apply to any creature with more than 1 hit die, no matter what type it is. So if it was a 2nd level magic user, you won't be able to do that. Starting equipment, they begin the game with one additional equipment. They begin the game with additional equipment and belongings which come from their liege lord or chivalric order to which they belong. Talking about social class, and that can have an effect on what they have. So Blackguards of a lower upper social class begin with plate mail and large shield. I did a little looking at equipment, and I may cover that maybe in my next video, and we'll take a look at some of the armor types and such. Plate mail, large shield, dagger, lance, and either a long or broadsword, as well as a medium warhorse. And it gets better as you rise in your class. So let me mark down that social class, page 109. We might check that out. Beginning at 3rd level, they're able to command certain types of creatures, such as zombies, ghouls, vampires, etc., and some extraplanar creatures, such as lesser demons, minor devils, and the like. Commanding consists of attempting to dominate the neutral or evil creature in question by sheer force of will, and an invocation of their dark powers, whom the Blackguard serves, while good aligned characters will be turned like a cleric can do. They roll on the turning undead table and apply the result. At 4th level, they may cast Find Familiar, and if the familiar is ever slain, he may cast it again 1 year and a day since the killing of the familiar. Poisoner. At 9th level, the Blackguard may take the Poison secondary skill. We saw how expensive that was. So they can take that with no additional experience points cost. You'll still need to find a mentor and pay the requisite training costs. So, training cost, maybe this is gold pieces. If he already has a skill level in poison, he will gain an additional one at no extra XP cost. Further levels in poison only cost them 6,000. And I can't recall what it was for additional levels, but it was a lot. It may have been 9,000 or something. Retainers. Like regular Cavaliers, Blackguards are required to gain retainers as they increase in level. So around 4th level, they might have some assassins helping them. 6th level, looks like they can have either a combination or gather a few assassins or other Blackguards to be with them. And eventually they'll get the help of some mounted bandits. Blackguards also get the ability to cast magic user spells starting at the 9th level. Didn't the old paladin from AD&D get that ability as well? So it's limited, but they do gain some spells starting at 9th level. And they don't gain any additional spell slots after 20th level. Spells work the same way as they do for magic users. So it's magic user spells. Okay. The Blackguard will have a spell book and must memorize spells at the beginning of the day to fill up the spell slots for a particular spell level. At 9th level, they have to find a tutor and they have to pay for their own spell book. A tutor will normally charge 10,000 gold pieces for such training. But many Blackguards find alternative means of payment. The training will take a month, at the end of which the Blackguard will be given 4 spells in his spellbook. So we're getting into the Paladin next, but I did want to briefly check on the social class. All right, never looked at this before. Social class are structured according to some sort of social strata. In Adventures Dark and Deep, it's loosely based on the model of medieval and Renaissance Europe. And there are different social classes. And as a rule, the social class of the characters should be based on their level and class, as shown below. However, the Game Master may tell you that social class should be settled by a die roll, or that the players may choose their character's social class within reason, or may even have their class assigned by the Game Master. So maybe this is for the roll here. So is it a D100? Yeah, it looks like it. If you roll really low, you're coming from the lower rung. And then there's the middle rung of lower class and the upper rung. So a lot of these are like peasants and beggars, barbarians, jesters, scalds, low-level thieves. In the middle class, we have the Cavaliers and Paladins, low-level magic users, merchants, low-level clerics, high-level fighters. And the upper class, we do have some Cavaliers, lesser Cavaliers, Blackguards and Paladins, high-level magic users and illusionists and savants, high-level Cavaliers, Blackguards and Paladins, high-level clerics, nobility, royalty, and great nobility. All right, so I guess you could be creating your Blackguard character or your Cavalier, and perhaps with the Paladin as well. And you can probably just roll the dice and see which class you're coming from. I don't see anything for Cavaliers and such less than the middle class. So you're going to be middle class and different rungs of that or higher. Okay, so that gives me an idea. Thanks for watching, everybody. Catch you later.